Hello, hello. Numa282 here, and welcome back to my ever-growing world of Digimon headcanons and what-ifs. This time, I'm diving into what I would consider more of a what-if scenario as we determine a twist on the DigiDestined dark side. What if the other DigiDestined forced an ultimate Evo from their partners, resulting in a dark Digivolution? Now, I know what you might be thinking. Numa, didn't you already do this with the Dark DigiDestined video? Numa, are you just recycling an old idea because you're lazy? Numa, aren't you getting a bit fat? Okay, hey, that's crazy. I don't know why you guys took it there. Wild of you. Why would you say that? This is a different concept though. So our Dark DigiDestined video saw us giving new evil crests to our heroes, kind of a corruption of sorts. So not just a moment of weakness, but more of a digital warping of themselves as they kind of grow worse in the digital world. This is a much simpler concept, where in the OG anime, we watch Tai push Greymon to become something evil by mistake. The rest of the kids learn a valuable lesson about forced evolution. My idea is to see what it would look like if the other kids went through this instead. This is kind of a what if instead of type of video. For example, Tai and Agumon were closer than ever, but when Tai put himself in danger to try and force an evolution, Greymon dark digivolved into Skull Greymon, an evil and twisted form for our little lizard. Do you guys kind of get the concept here? The idea is that where in the original anime, Tai forced Greymon to become Skull Greymon, what if instead of that happening, somebody else took that place, and that's how our kids learn that lesson? It sounds weird when I say it, but I think I'm saying it good enough. So, okay, let's just kind of deal with this. Also, I'm going to be foregoing recolors to focus more on story ideas, to explain just how each child would have caused the dark evolution. What's kind of nice is this is going to be a fairly quick video, I think. So let me know what you guys think of stuff like this, but we'll more on that later. We're going to start off with Sora and Biyomon, though. Sora's crest of love comes into play as her love for her friends and desire to protect them is so strong that it scares even herself. So what if, in this moment, she sees her friends all in danger? Maybe the other partners are knocked out or locked away, and Sora and Biyomon are the last ones standing, so to speak. So she begs Biyomon to find it within her to digivolve, causing her to kind of get even more pressure. Biyomon's weakened here. She's not fighting well, but Sora is begging her to protect her friends. And this forces a dark digivolution, causing Biyomon to become Tentomon, a much smaller birdman than Gabumon will be. This form of Biyomon's line would cause her to be, I think, callous and flippant. She may get the job done, showing a ruthlessness that kind of scares Sora, but maybe even gets one of her friends hurt in the crossfire. Maybe through Tentomon's more brash style, TK or Kari gets nicked and needs to be treated or knocked out, needs to be treated for injury, which would truly kind of show just how unruly these dark digivolutions are. Because if Sora had let Biyomon figure things out on her own, we wouldn't have gotten this kind of evil version. That's kind of how I'm running with this, okay? So yeah. Izzy and Tentomon make quite the pair, combining Izzy's brain with Tentomon's tenacity. This isn't always going to be the best thing, though. Think back to when Izzy and Tentomon reached champion level. He figured out the proper code to push an Evo on Tentomon, but almost hurt him in the process. I kind of imagine the gang, as they usually are, stuck in a dire situation, pushed to their limits and unsure how they will survive. Izzy, in all his glory, will think back to this prior tinkering and forces his way into a similar coding process. He tries to use latent data from all the other Digimon that are with them to give Kabuterimon a much-needed power boost and hopefully save the day. This, however, causes Kabuterimon to Dark Digivolve to Chimeramon, a collection of all their friends' data Frankensteined onto Kabuterimon's body in a grotesque fashion, leaving Izzy's partner powerful but unthinking, acting only on bare survival instincts, seemingly pushing through immense pain, and leaving the other Digimon in the group weakened and unable to digivolve. sick, right? That's like, it's cool. I really love this concept once I start tinkering with it. But Mimi and Palmon were a match made in heaven, even if Togemon isn't the cutest partner, and Mimi did make comments occasionally about Togemon, especially I think in the original anime. I kind of see Mimi growing jealous of the others finding new ultimate power with their partners, and maybe feeling a little bit of resentment towards her own. I toyed around with this idea in the Dark Digivolution, like the Dark DigiDestined video, so this is kind of an offshoot of that. I think in a moment where maybe Mimi and another one of the kids, let's say Sora, are separated from the rest of the group, she lets that resentment out and pushes an already ragged Togemon to just keep trying. Maybe even making a side comment that she thinks is lighthearted on how hopefully the next level is prettier, pushing Togemon to Dark Digivolve to Blossomon. What's prettier than flowers, Mimi? Probably not these monstrous flowers that could eat them. And maybe, after she angrily deals with their threat, she turns her bottled up rage on Mimi, wrapping her up in the vines and threatening to hurt her before Sora gets Birdramon or Garudamon to step in. I think this would prove an important part of Mimi's character development, showing her that even if she doesn't think what she's saying is hurtful, it truly can warp another person's sense of self. Now, I'm a bit of a known Joe hater. It's not that I hate Joe and Gomamon, it's quite the contrary. I think Joe could have been great. But him regressing personality-wise every season really started to kill his character for me. I think playing on Joe's fears would have made an amazing message for him. Again, this is another concept I delved into a different aspect of with, I think I gave him the crust of cowardice in the Dark DigiDestined video. Watch that, by the way. It's an older video, but I really love the work I did there. But I picture Joe alone with Gomamon, who's, of course, Digivolved to Ikakumon during a fight. I think they're struggling to fend off some terrifying Digimon, like one of the scariest ones that we can throw at a champion level. So maybe like that Hydrasimon, whatever that crazy plant vagina one is, or something like that, something terrifying, or like Phantomon. And I think Joe is like begging, crying for Ikakumon to just get stronger and save him. Kind of how, I can't think of his name, but the POS from Digimon Survive, kind of like how he reacted to Lotmon. And I think he does this and is ignoring Ikakumon's fear, which seems to also, I think in this moment, would be very prevalent. He should be able to tell that Ikakumon is terrified. So I think this would cause Ikakumon to Dark Digivolve to Skull Seadramon. The perfect worst nightmare for Joe, a skeletal undead form of the Seadramon that shook him to his core very early on in their adventure. This undead sea monster would destroy their foe with ease, but instead of attacking Joe, I imagine Gomamon's spirit would shine through, causing this massive terror to instead cower and cry as Joe forced this form in pain onto him, making Joe wonder if he was the true monster all along. I really love this idea of taking Joe's fear, but warping it into a fear of self, making him reflect on himself. Whereas a lot of the other ones I've talked about turn on their enemy, or turn on their friends, or cause harm to their friends by mistake, I think Skull Seadramon instead would just be so almost pathetic and make Joe be like, oh my god, I did this to him. Because of my own fear, I put him in a situation worse than mine. That's my concept for that one, right? Matt and Gabumon, I thought would be easy, and I figured I could just give like Garurumon a skeleton Digimon, kind of like maybe like Skull Beluchimon or something like that, to like match Skull Greymon, but I wanted to go a different route. As always, this is just, you guys know this. I want to try to look at unique routes, and that's something I love about Digimon, is it's so easy to come up with a unique route because anyone can become anything, and I think that's the beauty of it. So I think Matt's biggest fear, of course, would be losing TK. So I kind of see his fear building up, especially after Patamon becoming Angemon then reverts back to being a baby. I think Matt would put more and more pressure on Gabumon to protect TK, that in the time of need, He'd pull a similar move to Tai, adding unnecessary risk to try and coax an Evo out of Garurumon. In the heat of battles, like maybe TK is under duress, and then Matt's like, Garurumon, do something, and then he throws himself out there to be like, see, now I'm also in trouble, do something. And I think this would cause Garurumon to Dark Digivolve to Warmonzemon. Now, stick with me. This, you guys might not flow with this, but I do. I think a warped stuffed animal meant to bring safety and calm to his kid brother, but only bringing fear and chaos to the entire group is perfect. I think watching Matt have to sit in the sidelines while the rest of the party, including maybe spurring on Patamon's return, to have to take down his own partner because he didn't know how to just let go and trust his partner. I think that would be an insane teaching moment for not just Matt, but all of them. Again, this is what this is supposed to be. I mean, this is what the Skull Greymon moment was, where they learned, hey, these are living beings, and they knew it, but they're not just power pawns that you can throw out when you need, as much as they become that by the end of the series. But that comes with control and learning. They can't do that off the gate, and I like that. Speaking of TK and Patamon, this was another fun route to go back on. And so I wanted to, my last one, I'm trying to think of how to say this. It would have been too easy to go back to the immaturity route like I did for the Dark DigiDestined line, because that was fun. Having Patamon fail your Digivolve into Numamon and then going from there, super cool. But I wanted to focus on Envy. I think because Matt is constantly, I mean, even especially early on where he's asking Patamon, like, can you do this? Like, can you fly? Or like, hey, and it's this kind of like, why can't you become cool? And then he's like, keeps imagining what Patamon can Digivolve into and making all these concepts that Patamon is like kind of annoyed with, because he's like, I'm not a pig or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think kind of playing with that envy, his desire to be cool like his older brother and not be treated like a kid, would push TK to plead and eventually criticize Patamon even further to get stronger and stronger, thinking that tough love is what he needs. That's what his dad always did, right? Dark. This would result in Angemon Dark digivolving to Felismon. The nefarious fallen angel would prove to be harmful and toxic, mocking the scared and unsure TK and turning his dark magic on the group, forcing the DigiDestined to tire him out and rethink what they know about Digivolution. I imagine Felismon just kind of being a dick. Like, truly, I think that's the vision I have. Is maybe not even like directly harming them. Maybe it's something like Tentomon, where he's just not caring and like he's fighting their enemy, but then turning and like mocking TK for being a coward and being a baby, just hurting his feelings to the point to where him and Patamon have to like take a sec. They ought to take a beat and figure out what's going on after this. So that's my kind of concept there. Now, this is my own, it's kind of a headcanon, kind of canon. I have always felt that Kari suffered from imposter syndrome. We know that she had a lot of self-doubt, especially we learned this in 02, that she's always kind of felt unsure of herself between her connection to the Dark Ocean, which I almost went Dark Ocean for this, but I didn't. Because I didn't want to go that route. You'll see what I mean. So I kind of like that idea. And I've even said this before. Her and Gatomon were introduced late to the group. And I think that would be, between that and such an important component being Kari is completing the DigiDestined, and her Digimon are like, what is going to help end this? I think that would make her feel like a fraud. I think same for Gatomon, because they're very connected, more so than I would say some of the others are with their partners. I think that this self-doubt would kind of funnel from Kari to Gatomon back and forth. And when Kari panics and starts to kind of retract, maybe Gatomon is getting ready to Digivolve. So maybe Gatomon's already done her ultimate level Digivolution. So maybe Gatomon's getting ready to Digivolve. She's mid-Digivolution. into Angelomon. And Kari is like, no, it's not going to be enough. We fucked up. She probably wouldn't say that, obviously. But like, Kari starts panicking, and that flows into Gatomon mid-Digivolution, causing it to turn to a dark Digivolution, becoming Betsumon, a frankly repulsive Digimon who is a true imposter. And again, I think this is perfect for the imposter syndrome. I think this kind of ugly, false Gatomon Evo, with even like with the dark, the dark ring instead of the holy ring, would be perfect. I think I see Kari's own cowardice or lack of faith translating to this slimy being who is only out for themselves. And this would cause, in my mind, once they deal with this, Betsumon would go back to Salamon and stay Salamon for like the length that, I think it would be like the length that kind of Patamon was before he could become Angemon again. I think that would be great, because I think that would let Salamon give some fucking shine time, but B, Kari could bond with her partner the way she never got to, because Gatomon out the gate, kind of a bad motherfucker. And I love Gatomon. I never want this to come off as I don't like Gatomon, I prefer Salamon. I do, but that's not what this is. This is more of letting Kari and Salamon be vulnerable together, the same way the rest of the party got to be with their partner. So that's if I ever get to do a 3-boot Digimon Adventure, that's the route I think I would take. So there you have it, folks. I took on the challenge of coming up with new story beats to see what would happen if the other DigiDestined happened to stumble upon a dark ultimate evolution instead of Tai and Greymon. I have some other fun stuff coming up, including the Dino Thunder video, so stay tuned. As always, if you like my content or this video in particular, please subscribe, like, and or comment. If you guys want a more shorter form content like this, I am so happy to tackle like 02, and if they had a similar aspect, or finishing I kind of already did finish the Ultimate and Mega lines, but you get my point. I think that would be really fun. So let me know what you guys think and what you guys are interested in. If you guys have any other questions, like what if this happened, or what if, I don't know, things I haven't done yet, come up with it. What if the 01 kids went to Iliad? I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do, let me know. I'm running out of kind of general Digimon stuff to do. I'm doing a lot more of my crossover stuff lately, so I'd love to dive back into kind of the meat and potatoes of it all. Just raw Digimon shit. I don't know if I already said this, but feel free to check out my TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky linked below. As always, if you like my content or this video in particular, obviously subscribe, like, and or comment. It helps so much. It helps me so much, please. And then beneath that, you're going to find a link invite to our Discord channel, so feel free to hop on in and join the 282. Thanks again, though, for watching, everybody, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye! I do really love short videos. It is so much easier to do. My God.